We are going to be looking at some creepy videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go and get right into today's video. Really quick, I do want to say, yes, YouTube removed the visibility from the previous video, so I had no choice but to delete it. But I did go ahead and add new video footage to this video. But make no mistake about it, we still have a lot to talk about, like some people saying some very strange things. And also, is it possible we may have shapeshifters among us that are having difficulties holding their forms? But before we go ahead and get into any of that, this very strange sound was heard in New York very early in the morning on November 11th. And again, more and more people are hearing very strange sounds. To me, anyway, I still strongly feel like the noises people are hearing are not coming from the skies above, but the grounds below, boring machines, drilling tunnels, and so forth. And given the fact, like I said, more and more people are capturing very strange sounds, they must be really putting in the work below. This next video comes from Ms. Cassie87, and the official explanation as to what this woman saw is that she saw the Northern Lights. But have you ever seen Northern Lights like this before?
Nothing. Until this spot. Like, what? This is the second time I've caught it. It's nowhere else. Like, I know people were saying it's like the Aurora Borealis, but wouldn't it be like, wouldn't it be somewhere else too? I'm by a school? But come on, guys. What is that? This is the second time that I've caught it out here. And I'm finding it hard to believe. It's hard to see when I zoom out, but it's still there. Like, come on. What is that? Does anyone know what that is?
I'm surprised they didn't go with the old "it's just swamp gas, bro" excuse, but again, I've never seen Northern Lights like this before. And talking about the Northern Lights, I have been seeing more and more videos from people saying that after they've been out in the Northern Lights, they have felt tired, they felt sick, they had a headache, and so forth. They had a lack of energy. For example, this video from Lee 2.0.
A friend of mine wants to know if anyone else has a sore throat or a burning nose after going out into the alleged Northern Lights. I am getting reports of sore throats, burning noses, even a day prior to all of this. I have it too. It's not Northern Lights, it's radiation, guys. I'm telling you, like, they are literally doing the shit on purpose. When is the last time in the South y'all have ever seen red Northern Lights? Be honest. We didn't even start having Northern Lights down here until, like, what, 2 years ago? And all over the Book of Face, all these kids are so excited that they went out in it. I wish they would have never gone outside in it. I mean, and to be honest, you could be in the house and it's still going to affect you. And every meteorologist that I have seen in Arkansas is like, oh, well, look at this. If you missed it last night, you can see it again tonight. Great.
And she's not too far off, because multiple news agencies did come out last year and say, can northern lights solar storms affect your health? Studies have found a surprising link. And they're saying how the geomagnetic radiation can disrupt body's circadian rhythm, nervous system, heart rate, and blood pressure, and just make you feel unwell. So they did have that excuse locked and loaded, but again, their excuse is that it's just the activity coming from the sun. We're not doing any experimentations whatsoever that could be affecting your health and having you see all these lights where you normally never see these lights. That's just crazy talk. No, it's coming from the sun. That is what's making you feel sick. I'm going to go ahead and play one more video of somebody else saying that they have not been feeling well ever since the northern lights. Then I'll move on to another segment.
Question. Has anybody else been having these weird feelings for the last couple, 3 days? People are thinking it's all related to like the northern lights that have been going on. So I have had, it started with a knot on the back of my head that was so sore to the touch, like bad. Then I've had a headache, body aches. I've had like nauseousness that actually I think is coming from like being anxious. I've been on some other groups on Facebook, and I was noticing other people are complaining about these. And then today, my fiance says he's feeling it, the very same thing. I have not been sick, just want to lay around for the last 3 days. Anybody else feeling this?
Okay, so riding in Chicagoland on the freeway, this is 294 passing Halsted. I don't know what this is floating in the sky. Like, at first I thought it was balloons, but if it was balloons, it'd be moving. And then right at this time, it started raining. So I'm like, it can't be leaves or something that is floated up into the sky. Like, whatever this is, it's stationary, and it's a lot of it. And it actually goes higher than that. Have you guys ever seen anything like this? Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are.
That is indeed pretty creepy, but whatever that happens to be, it's probably just something they sprayed or put in the skies and is sustaining there. They look like some massively overgrown nanoparticles. So I had made a previous video, or a couple of videos, talking about these orange orbs being seen more and more by people, but check out what this individual captured over in Denver. I do want to go ahead and play this video right here from the paranormal chick, because whatever this was that was captured is absolutely massive.
I have an interesting video for you today. This comes from a pair of witnesses who were at a remote location in a helicopter when they spotted what they believe to be a Russian Yeti. You have to look closely in between the trees and you'll see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And whatever this thing is, it's massive, bipedal, and it appears to have a white coat. Could somebody finally have captured credible evidence of the mythical Russian Yeti? Take a look at this footage. Comment below. Tell me what you think.
The video footage is indeed blurry, but you can still make out that this thing is massive, and it does, from a distance anyway, look like a Yeti. And I do think all sorts of cryptids really do exist, because even if you don't believe that these things are entities, we still have these deep underground military bases, these DUMBs, that are creating all sorts of humanoid chimeras, hybrids, and so forth. And every so often they probably release them into the wilds to test them and see how they interact. But there are also so many cultures that talk about these massive entities that go back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But talking about humanoids, I had posted this video clip in my most recent video, and people had noticed this reporter talking to Bill Gates, and they noticed his eye. It looks very serpent-like. And I was curious about this myself, and people were leaving comments saying, well, there's nothing wrong with his eye. There's a condition called columba, I think that's how you pronounce it, that gives the iris a more reptile-like appearance. There are even people saying, well, my friend also has something very similar, so I guess it is what it is. But more and more people are posting video footage of people they see on TV that are being interviewed. Their facial features are distorting. They're looking less and less human, like this individual right here. I believe he's a member of parliament or somebody interviewing about the members of parliament, but look at his teeth. They look sharper than what you would see from a normal human. And I get it, right? People can definitely have bad teeth. I'm not humiliating him for that, but it's just something looks very off about this. It looks like they're growing as he's talking, and they're just very, very sharp. Again, something you would see from some sort of reptile, like an alligator or something along those lines. Now, to be fair, at the end of the day, I don't know what conditions these people may have, but I do believe there is indeed something out there. On my other channel, Minutes of Horror, over a year ago, I had posted this video right here, and as you can see, YouTube, they gave me the blue bar fact check. And this came directly from the Royal website. Royal.uk was not a third party, directly from their website, and they released an article titled "Queen Seen by Her Subjects in a Different Form." It went on to say the Queen has ruled for longer than any monarch in British history, becoming a much loved and respected figure across the globe. Her extraordinary reign has seen her travel more widely than any other monarch, undertaking many historic overseas visits. Known for her sense of duty and her devotion to a life of service, she has been an important figurehead for the UK and the Commonwealth during times of enormous social change. Earlier this week, the Queen was seen by thousands of people in a form they are not acquainted with. We seek to reassure the public that the Queen is still their Queen and remains the respected and loved figure they have always known. While she may not be human, she is a devoted leader and monarch, and she believes her subjects will grow to accept her and her family for what they are. Quoted as saying, "I pay tribute to the commitment, selfless devotion, and generosity of spirit shown by my millions of human subjects, and I fully expect them to digest this news in a mature and humble fashion. Nothing has changed. Together we shall march on." It did stay up for a couple of hours until they had deleted it, but unfortunately for them, the Wayback Machine captured it, and you yourself can still see it to this day. I just wonder if this article had been saved in their back pocket, just in case one day she may have slipped and revealed her real form, and then they can go ahead and quickly release this article. But it seemed like somebody sent that out a little too early, and didn't also Princess Diana say they were reptiles as well? But moving on to somebody else that also said something pretty strange, people are wondering what Netanyahu meant when he said this, when he referred to the United States as Rome. But then after this, it gets a little bit more concerning in another video when he mentions Rome again. But first, let me go ahead and play this video right here.
We had a moving visit today to the wall. I can't resist repeating this, but I'm going to. I said to the secretary that the last time Pompeo visited Jerusalem didn't end that well. But this is a different time. Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people. But the new Rome, the United States, views itself as a new Jerusalem.
We want to know what you're reading now.
What I'm reading?
Yeah.
It's a book by historian by the name of Barry Strauss. It's called The Jews Against Rome. Jews Against Rome.
What made you pick it up?
Well, we lost that one. I think we have to win the next one.
So in that previous video, he mentions how the United States is the new Rome, and yet it's also Jerusalem. And then afterwards, he mentions he's reading a book about Jews versus Rome. And he says, well, there was a war previously and they lost it, but they have to win the next one. So should I take that as they have to win the war against the United States? I mean, that sounds pretty self-explanatory. And for those that want to explain what he said and put it in a better light, let's not forget, this is not the first time that he mentioned using weapons against citizens of the United States. Now, they might not be guns or explosions, but basically weapons against people's minds using social media.
Christian influencers. Okay. You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane, they're loonies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well, okay? And you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class?
Followers.
TikTok. Now
I didn't catch it at first when I first saw this video, but when he said drones, he said, we'll go ahead and get into that. I just wonder exactly what he said about using drones. So yeah, as you can see, there's obviously a war going on, but first they're going to go ahead and try propaganda. They're going to try social media. And if that fails, I guess that's where the drones come in. I don't know. And going back to the 2026 Economist magazine cover, a video that I covered yesterday, we can see drones just targeting all the corners of the earth. And I do not trust any government whatsoever. We're not supposed to. We're not supposed to give our blind trust to them. And when they have agendas and narratives they want to go ahead and push, anything and everything goes right out the window. I think for a lot of us, we feel like something big is coming down the pipeline in the way of a major false flag. I mean, we are constantly hearing once again about Al-Qaeda in news and media. And when was the last time we heard of them prior to 2025? Yet they're making a resurgence. So they're laying their framework, their groundwork, and they're getting their actors together for this major false flag. And I mean, something like that was even hinted to on the 2026 Economist magazine cover.
אם אנחנו עושים לזה משהו, אז הם...
יש עליה, אז נניח שהם אומרים משהו. 80% מהאמריקאים תומכים בנו. זה אבסורד. לא פחדתי להתאבד שם. לא פחדתי להתאבד עם קלינטון. לא פחדתי להתאבד עם אובמה.
But again, make no mistake about it, something big is around the corner. This is the Greens EFA talking to the European Parliament, and what they say sounds eerily similar to the World Economic Forum United Nations 2030 agenda, but they call it the giant leap.
The scenario is the giant leap. We wanted to identify a small set of actions, a minimum viable product, to reach as many sustainable development goals in Europe's vision of a social and green region. We wanted to take a systems approach to explore if we can achieve an acceptable level of well-being for the global majority on a finite planet. We conclude that nothing less than the following 5 extraordinary turnarounds are needed to have well-being for all while respecting planetary boundaries. ending poverty, addressing gross inequality, achieving full gender equity, transforming the food system and the way we eat, transitioning to clean energy and efficient energy. We argue that these 5 extraordinary turnarounds and the set of economic reforms that will drive them form the basis of a well-being economy. It is not a blueprint, but more of a guide for systemic transformation. In this scenario, poverty ends a generation earlier than too little too late. We see gender empowerment in 1 generation, not 10. We see a switch to healthier plant-based diets. There is still meat consumption, but at sustainable levels. And we have carbon dioxide emissions every decade to reach net zero by 2050. The economic model everywhere is circular, regenerative, and efficient. Material consumption of unsustainable resources is reined in, fossil energy phased out, and we see a significant redistribution of wealth. In this scenario, we introduce a universal basic dividend operating like a universal basic income, with dividends coming to all people, sharing the wealth of the global commons and public goods. Who's taking the wealth now? It is not properly redistributed. This is not utopic. This is what is fair and just and what a society in transformation is all about. Why do we think this is important? We know the giant leap will be disruptive. We're talking about a complete shakeup. This is everything, everywhere, all at once. It will create shocks.
And as quote-unquote coincidence may have it, this sounds eerily similar, the giant leap sounds eerily similar to Chairman Mao's Great Leap Forward, which saw millions upon millions of Chinese lives lost. There was mass starvation, economic devastation, all in order to transform China to a predominantly agrarian society into a modern industrialized society. So, like in her words, they had shaken things up. But again, we saw on the 2026 Economist cover their hint for the future, what they're going to be ushering in, what's going to happen. We really do see how they're going to be shaking things up.
I've got to show you guys something. This is traditional sweet corn. Now, what's really wild about this is not what we used to call our heirloom seeds. This is just our regular sweet corn that you buy off the shelf. This is GMO corn. Now, we grow this as our field corn. And the reason I want to show you this, I'm going to show you 2 things. This is heirloom corn. Now, we don't weed it. Normally every year, this corn has come up and done really good for the last 10 years. Same seed, so I've grown it over and over, and we rotate our crops. But also, you look at the sunflowers. Once you look at them sunflowers, the sun, I can't see it, but well, the sun basically is right there, and they've got the flowers have turned away from the sun. This is not something, obviously, if you look down this, that's our garden. We grow over an acre worth of just garden. So what I'm trying to get at is something's not right. There's 2 things that ain't right. The amount of aluminum in our soil now is 5 times to 10 times higher than it was even last year. Let me show you something else. Now that sweet corn is bought, like I said, from the store, so it's not an heirloom seed. It's supposed to be an all-natural seed. It's non-genetically GMO, but I'm starting to doubt it. However, these are cucumber plants. Now, traditionally, those cucumbers, I'd have so many. After putting them on the stand, we'd be giving them away, giving them to food pantries. And our corn, you know, that heirloom corn, we'd be giving it away. Our garden this year has suffered the worst. It's not due for not water. These are some of our hot pepper plants. Normally, these plants, I would have so many of these hot peppers that you wouldn't be able, I wouldn't be, like I said, I couldn't sell enough of them. We'd be giving them away. And hopefully we have a better garden next year. So we still got enough that we're going to be able to maintain costs, operational costs. We still have our vegetable stand It's just not booming like it usually is. We've let the weeds kind of come back up and take over some of the garden because we weren't getting the production out of it what we should. So the stand's good. We're going to can enough for our family, but as far as being able to provide for others, it's not going to be as viable for us to be able to do that. Y'all have a good day.
So I saw this video off of Barry Stepp's channel, and if they're not doing something psychological, if they're not doing something physical, then they're out here destroying the crops, destroying the lands, and even the farmers are noticing. This next video comes from Moon Henry.
Something massive is afoot right in front of us, and I'll prove it in 1 second. Unrelated, did you see what Tucker Carlson just posted? I'll be right back. And I mean really, stay till the end.
What are these lines in the sky that we have all seen?
There's sprayed particulate dispersion. Bottom line is, when we have up-close film footage of these aircraft at altitude with nozzles visible turning dispersion, this is not, quote, condensation. Watch.org is the only entity to sample what these heavy aircraft are emitting at altitude. We found exactly what we knew we would find, starting with aluminum particles, bioavailable freeform aluminum to all life, period. That element is named in numerous climate engineering patents as part of a geoengineering dispersion element. This elephant in the sky.
So of course, we know all these people are just being downright bat crap crazy. We know. Like, what are they even talking about, right? But let me ask you this. This same video is posted on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. No problem whatsoever. Why now? By the way, TikTok, I'll sue you. There is something much bigger afoot right now, and it's apparent that the lid is being removed off everything under a certain circumstance. Would he have been able to post that video a few years ago? You know, the sky has been so clear and blue, the whole government shut down. Look at this beautiful night a few nights ago.
To basically
of course,
create
the shutdown is
diversions,
completely
pull attention away
1000% unrelated
from Bush's
to the
presidential
sky.
corruption and
X in the
scandal
sky
controversies.
at nighttime?
It begins
Why
in 2002.
now?
Britney Spears
Think.
and Justin Timberlake
Bookmark, save the
breakup.
video.
That same year,
Something
Britney was
is
actually
coming.
seen canoodling with a man named Karl Rove, who was a senior Bush administrator. People wonder whether that canoodle is where this connection was made, or maybe it was his idea. And like, again, part of this conspiracy theory is that Britney might have no idea that she was selected for this. So in 2004, the Bush administration blew the cover of a CIA agent named Valeria Plame. And all this was going down. It was causing a lot of bad press. A week before the hearing over this scandal went down, Britney married her childhood friend, Jason Alexander. What's so fascinating about this Las Vegas wedding is the annulment that happened 50 hours later. Right? It created this huge stir, but it ended up meaning nothing. 2 years later, Bush's approval rating was at an all-time low. And this was really bad because there were midterm elections coming up. And suddenly, no one was talking about Bush because Britney Spears was seen driving in Malibu with her infant son on her lap. This basically completely overshadowed that Bush's approval rating was so low. Suddenly, instead, the nation was debating lap infant protocol. Then, November 6, 2006, the day before the midterm election, Britney Spears announced her split from Kevin Federline. February of 2007, Bush announces the reformation of Al-Qaeda. That same night, Britney snuck out of rehab, shaved her head, and attacked a paparazzi vehicle with an umbrella. No one was talking about Al-Qaeda.
Everybody was talking about Britney for the next year.
Then, March 14, 2007, Attorney General Alberto Gonzales admits that mistakes were made in the firing of 8 U.S. attorneys who didn't seem loyal enough to Bush. That same day, a story is leaked about Britney's rehab romance. Around 2008 is when Britney is essentially silenced. Bush was not going to be president anymore, and people suspect that she was no longer needed as a scapegoat.
And this just goes to show that a lot of the celebrity drama that we get ourselves wrapped up in, that we focus and pay attention to, is just a distraction for something much, much bigger that's going on in the background that truly impacts our daily lives.
Not too long ago, I made a video about digital ID. And a lot of people said that'll never happen here. But guess what? It is now officially in the US. And the company responsible for bringing digital ID to the US is Apple. That's right, Apple, the same Apple that makes the iPhone. Take a look at this. Here's their press release. Read it for yourself. Apple just rolled out digital ID in over 250 TSA checkpoints across the United States. The meaning of all this? Your image, your information, and everything associated with you will be all set to go before you even board a flight. To also put it into perspective, it will just be you and a computer. No human beings to check anything because you're already checked in via digital ID. Digital ID, think about it, will be connected to a system, a computer system that will include surveillance cameras knowing your movements, where you go, where you've checked in, when you've checked in, and how you've checked in. And don't forget, it will require facial recognition. Why? Because you use Face ID to get into most of your apps, including this one. And the name of this program is Skynet. So think about all your movements, every single thing you do, because you'll be carrying your phone in your hand. It'll be able to track you from point A to point B. And also, like I say with all my videos, take this as entertainment purposes only until this is 100% officially rolled out and you start to see it for yourself. And for those of you that are questioning whether or not this is happening or going to be happening, if you have an iPhone, just go and open up your wallet and go to Add to Wallet and take a look and read the line right here. I'll step out of the way. You pause and read. So as I said in my previous video, this was heading to the US and it is now officially here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as to, do you think this is going to be a game changer? And are you willing to add it right now? And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
That video came from the Jody69, and more organizations and companies are jumping in on this whole digital ID. And don't forget, the state of Utah wants to make it mandatory.
I just went down a rabbit hole of these islands that feel as if they've literally been deleted from history, like places that were once full of life and now people pretend like they've never even existed. First up, I came across Hart Island, and this is next to New York City, and it's actually a massive burial ground. Quite literally, over 1 million people have been laid to rest over there with no names on their graves, to the point where it was off limits for decades. And now even very few actual city workers set foot there. So it's pretty much just like the island that nobody in New York talks about. Have y'all ever heard of Hart Island? Then south of Mexico City, you have La Isla de las Muñecas, which is also known as the Island of the Dolls. And there was a single caretaker on this island that would hang up dolls in the trees to honor the spirit of a girl who had passed in the water. Some people say it was also to ward her off. However, what started as a few dolls ended up being hundreds. And this island to this day is nearly completely empty. The only thing is, once in a while they have a few boat tours, and there are researchers who will come on the island, and they say that the wind still moves the eyes of the dolls. Now, Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay is known by many as the prison that nobody could escape. It housed some of the most notorious criminals, but a lot of people don't talk about what happened after it shut down in 1963. And the truth is, it was so decayed and so contaminated that nature took over almost overnight. Park rangers say that it is completely haunting. It's very eerie, one of the strangest places that they've ever worked, to the point where you can still hear screams and crazy sounds. Dead Man's Island in Canada might be the one that really gets under your skin, and frankly, by the name alone, I know I have no invite there. But they say that this place is super eerie because it started off as an indigenous burial ground, then it became a quarantine site, then it became a military base, all on one patch of land. Now they say that it is completely closed off, nobody can access it, and locals feel like it's not even right to step on the land. It just feels completely off. I can't imagine the stories and secrets and everything that's hidden there. And finally, there's Riddles Island in the UK, and most people have never even heard of this place. There's only some old records that hint that it was some type of institution or asylum left to be swallowed up by the sea. No residents whatsoever, just rumors about wild, haunting experiments and insane experiences. Each of these islands were built for a reason and then quietly abandoned. So what do y'all think? Were they forgotten on purpose? Like, whatever happened there, was it too eerie for anybody to stay because it was so haunted?
That video came from
Drop
Tea
your
with
thoughts in the
Pravi,
comments.
and
Let me know
there
if
are
you've heard
just
about
so
these
many
places. If you
secret,
haven't,
hidden islands that exist in this world, and all of them have their own history, lore, and sometimes downright disturbing information that are attached to them. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.